On the show there, guys. I need to cut this down. Happy World Whiskey Day. Everybody here, let's see what's going on. Got two computers going here so I can see what's going on everywhere, guys. I'm waiting for my guests to come in. They are here somewhere. I may have to invite a second one as well. Anyway, has everybody been having fun? I'm trying to keep this as world as I can. World whiskey. Late night going on here. I got to type in something. I had it set up, but we are now having technical difficulty. It seems to be a curse on this day for some people. So, what has been your most enjoyable whiskey today? And I will see the chat in a second here, guys. I have a guest that I hope can get connected. I've got hopefully two now, if he can get it to work. Of course, for him, it's 5 a.m. in Iceland. We'll give him a chance to get in here. Everybody else is having fun, I hope. Here, let me try and get so I can see what's going on, guys. I'm not really set up in my own place, so it's a little difficult sometimes here. I got to shrink this so I can see the chat. Okay, so what does World Whiskey Day mean to you? Anybody here want to answer that question? Is it really, do we need an excuse to drink? I'm not on location. I'm in Moose Jaw, and I'm in the rental house that I'm in, and I'm okay. So somebody said they're ready. On email. If you're watching, Mark, it's not on email. I send it directly through Hangouts. So we'll try this again here. So hopefully the gentleman that I've invited on is able to connect. I'm from Canada, eh? Hey, Canada. Well, I'm also from Canada. I had this all set up to work great, and now I'm messing it up. See? All right. I really hope this guy can get through here and see us. So, what do we got here? Lewis, how you doing, buddy? Saskatoon sealskin bindings. There's no seals in Saskatoon, Malted, Montreal. For a Canadian, you kind of forget where we are. Hey, John, how you doing, right? Hi. I'm getting a hi here. I don't know if he's getting the message here. Where is it? I am sure I've sent it to you several times. I've sent it. We seem to be having some technical difficulty. All right, guys, we'll try this again. We've been starting to do this for like 15 minutes, right? My guest, who's supposed to be coming in, is in Iceland, and he's from the Faroe Islands himself, and it is 5 a.m. in the morning for him. And he said he'd do this. So if he can get through, that would be great. Okay. And he and I are both members of the SNWS. And we follow each other on Instagram. You guys can look him up as Cruisarian. C-R-U. Oh, I got to look up how to spell it. Cruisarian. Okay. Okay, when it's done, I'll keep sending you an invite. It'll work. Just give it some time. And then we have another guy hiding in the background here from Korea. Are you there, buddy?
I'm here.
Right on. Less technical difficulty?
I'll say.
That's good. Well, thanks for coming on, Mark.
Pretty
right
good.
on.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. We're waiting for a gentleman that is in Iceland right now. He's just got something downloading on his computer. On Instagram, he is known as Cruisarian. And on YouTube, he is known by his name, Rooney Nielsen.
Rooney, I've seen that before.
Yeah, he is from Faroe Islands. I think you were
right. We were talking about that. Very cool.
You were trying to pronounce it the other day. Yeah, it's Faroe Islands, and he is a member of the SMWS as myself. And so I drove all the way yesterday, an hour away from where I'm at, to pick up a bottle because I left all my bottles in back at home. I'm out of town working, right? So, So what do we have in the comments here? Kevin Miato, Santa Cruzan, thanks for coming in. Richard Black.
In there.
You're getting yourself in there?
Well, I'm trying. See, I'm using my back camera on my iPhone, so I can't see you or anything right now. So then I have to do a secondary feed here.
Well, that's what I do too. I have two computers here right now. I was watching everybody else while I had myself set up. You need to have at least one bottle behind you.
There you go.
How about 3 bottles in front of me? I was drinking some of this stuff, some good Canadian whiskey, while I was listening to 2 different YouTubers bad mouth it. I'm not very happy with that, but if that's the way they want to play, we'll play.
YouTubers about Canadian whiskey?
Yeah, I didn't like their reaction, and that's it. What you see behind me is actually a video from the Faroe Islands, and wow. Impressive. Yeah. What do we got here? Whiskey on the 6 on a scale from 1 to 10. How drunk is everybody out here? I know that one guy was in here saying he was feeling pretty tipsy. Pascal Burgers, where are you from? And do you have a different name on Instagram? I can't remember. Anyway, I'm amazed that all you guys are here. It's very impressive that you've been following this whole chain all the way through the whole day. I was at work today. I've had to, thankfully, coming on late has given my nose and my palate a chance to relax because I'm working at a fertilizer plant. And for some unknown reason, they had to shut down on the middle of the week by accident. The power shut off. And when they restart, hey, we got a new guy. A lot of ammonia is coming out of the plant. Rooney, we can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you also, but I can see you, but you cannot see me. I can see.
Okay, so Rooney, I'm going to allow.
That's right. He's got a video feed.
Okay, if you can get your camera to work, that's fine. But if we can only hear you, that's just as good.
So I will try to get it to work.
You gonna work on that?
Oh, yeah. There he is. Oh, and then he's gone again.
Oh, you were there for a second, Rooney.
Okay.
You keep working on that, and we'll keep talking here. So, Rooney, you have your own YouTube channel under your name, Rooney, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, and you live in the Faroe Islands, which is part of Denmark. Is that right?
Well, it's part of the Kingdom of Denmark. I think it's a sovereign country now.
It is a sovereign country, and but we are like the Commonwealth, like Canada and Australia. We have the Danish Queen as our supreme commander, what you call it. So
Correct. They still take care of your military needs and so forth.
They take care of our military needs, and that's about it. Police force also is also, but this doesn't any practical sense, because it's just it's just practical actually. So
very good.
So it's yeah. So Faroe Islands is a self-governing country, and Denmark is not the European Union.
Okay. Yep. And you're basically above Scotland.
Yeah, the midway between Scotland and Iceland.
Right in the middle. If people look behind me right now, I have a video of the Faroe Islands playing on the TV.
Oh.
And it's just it's an amazing views you have there. I'm sure they've shot lots of movies there for different things, right? Somebody says to uncheck Rooney's box. Rooney's box isn't clicked.
What does that mean?
Well, on the Instagram, if I click on it, it'll either have your picture on the, not on Instagram, pardon me, but on the Hangouts, it'll have your picture come up all the time.
Yeah.
But that's not the issue here right now. It's just saying that you don't have a camera right now. I think it doesn't. If you go up, oh, there's your Instagram profile pictures up.
Yeah.
I think you need to click on the settings wheel and maybe tell it right by where the phone call is. There's a settings. Maybe it wants to know. It wants you to give it permission what camera to use.
Yeah, I have tried that. It didn't work either. So.
That's okay. This will work fine. Now we have now everybody can see your face, so they'll be able to find you on your Instagram, which is Cruisarian.
Yeah.
And is it correct for me to assume that you would be a real Viking?
Yes, definitely.
Not like those guys from the Orkney that put out Highland Park.
No. They are just wannabes. They are wannabes.
I saw a video of you, not on your own channel. And it was all in your language. I wanted to say Denmark. What language? You speak Danish or?
We speak Faroese.
Faroese. Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's really small language. We're only 50,000 speakers of this local in the Faroe Islands, and there might be another 50,000, maybe 100,000 in Denmark that speak Faroese, and that's it.
Very good.
So it's less than 200,000 people. I speak Danish also and Icelandic. I speak Danish also and Icelandic and Norwegian and Swedish. Amazing. English, of course.
And your English is very, very French, good.
Yeah, thank you. It's our third language in the Faroe Islands.
That's amazing. So I saw you on an interview. It was a debate on the Faroese news channel about something I don't know anything about. It was called grinding.
Yeah.
And is that like here in the Eastern Canada we have a seal hunt? Is there something similar about that?
It's similar to that. Yes, it is. It is. So basically, during 1,000 years of settlement at the Faroe Islands, people of the Faroe Islands have relied heavily on all of nature's resources to survive in a harsh environment like the Faroe Islands.
I see.
And and so pilot whales have been drive hunted for 1,000 years in the Faroes, and that is one of the things that Faroe Islands is really, really known for. Very, very controversially also, that there are a lot of people all over the world that are very angry since whales in general are
being slaughtered unnecessarily.
Yeah, and it's also it's you know, it is I don't know what you call it, but it's something like subsistence hunt or what you call it, and yeah, but I myself, I am against it because it's a really contaminated food source. It's I haven't eaten it myself for many years, and it's really high in mercury.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of that nowadays. I can understand that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start talking about some whiskey here.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with Mark. Mark is in Korea. He's from Manitoba. And if you haven't seen his YouTube channel yet, Rooney, it's called Whiskey Whistle. What is it? Yeah, what is it that you're gonna pour for this World Whiskey event you're on today, Mr. Mark?
Well, I'm going to be pouring some Aqvavitae 18.
And you're not going to pour it into a sample bottle and cause it to explode, are you, like you did before?
And I'd like to channel, what's his name now? That actor. Why do I always forget his name? The one who did all of this, the Scotch pronunciation guide. Bill Cox.
Yeah.
Brian Cox. All right, I'm going to channel some Brian Cox here. Aqvavitae.
Well, now let's hear Rooney say it.
Aqvavitae.
Oh, that's very nice.
And what are you going to drink, Rooney?
I have the Aqvavitae. The Aqvavitae.
Oh, you do? I thought you had an SMWS bottle.
No, it's because I am in England at the moment, and so it's only my traveling whiskey that I'm having with me. I didn't bring. I bought a bottle, so it's the only whiskey I have with me for the World Whiskey Day, and I have a very well equipped bar at home, but I am in Iceland, so.
Yes, well, your videos show some very nice stuff. I was watching your review on Glenfarclas 25 today in between work and so on. But what caught my eye for you in the first place was you put some pictures up and your SMWS collection. So you've got quite a few bottles of that.
Yeah, I think I have around 150 SMWS bottles.
150?
Yeah.
I thought I was doing good at about 80.
150 open bottles?
Come again?
Mark asked if there were open bottles.
Not all of them, no. I have around... I think I have around 40 bottles opened of SMWS. I have, all in all, I have like 520 bottles, I think.
I see. Santa Cruzan says that it's a robot voice and is not really there, but I can guarantee you that he is there, Santa Cruzan. And what else do we have in the comments here? If somebody says you speak better English than me, that would be Swami, Malted in Montreal. Who's with Rooney? I don't know. Who is with Rooney? I don't know. You say you're in England right now or Iceland?
Iceland.
You're in Iceland, yeah. So if you go to Rooney's Instagram page, Cruisarian, he's got some phenomenal stuff that he's been doing when you're there for work, but after work you've been doing some tourist looking at stuff, and it's beautiful. Especially your video of you driving. You must have been speeding. It was going pretty fast.
Yeah, I was doing like I didn't speak. It was like you have the function on, you can put it on time lapse.
Yeah,
then it takes a series of photos.
Yeah,
and plays it in really fast succession. And it looks like I'm driving 450 miles an hour or something like that.
Yes, I figured that was what it was. My Insta name is Whiskey and Beard. Yes. So, and there's another guy in the chat here, Pascal Burgers, who's on Instagram is Whiskey and Beard. And where are you from, Pascal? So this, why I'm doing this right now, and I'm really happy that Rooney came in and Mark, is now we're covering the globe pretty good here, right? And so we're all drinking Scotch. My fondness, and Rooney, you answer after this, of the SMWS is that they are spreading out more. They've started a first blend. They are staying with Scotches mostly, but they have now rums and they have cognacs and Armagnacs and more things are coming in. I mean, the bottom line is that SMWS is an independent bottler, but I'm going to have, and I think I can hold this the right way to get close enough. It's 42.24. It's called the Bee's Knees. It's a 9-year-old, and it is finished in X. I got to turn this around. Refill barrel X bourbon. There are only 204 of these bottles, and that is one of the things that attracts me to this, and almost any independent bottler, is that when you buy one, you're not going to get a repeat or someone trying to make the same bottle again, right? They're all unique and they're all rare in that sense, right? Nobody's trying to blend stuff together to make it last longer or reproduce the product, right? Rooney, what got you into the SMWS? Because obviously you're a big fan with that many bottles in your collection.
First, it was my colleague who was also a whiskey enthusiast, and he was a member of SMWS before me, and I tasted. I think my first bottle was 127.21, and that was Charlotte. And it was called for Wusses. And I literally went straight to the homepage and for SMWS and signed up for a membership, so, like straight away. And at the first sip of this, and then I bought the bottles also.
Did you? And do you have it shipped to your home in the Faroe Islands, or do you pick it up?
No. Yeah, I give it to my. I have so my main office is in Denmark. The company I'm working for at the moment is a Danish company, and we have a main office in Denmark that get it shipped there. So when we are having sales meetings and I am in Denmark on work, then I bring home X amount of bottles that I'm allowed to. It's not it is like it's a monopoly. The trade of spirits and wines in the Faroe Islands is a monopoly. So you're not allowed to getting it shipped to the Faroe Islands.
Okay, but you're allowed to bring so many every time you come back.
Yeah. It's a fixed amount of 3 liters all in all of alcohol. So
that's good. So that's at least that's at least 4 bottles every time you come back.
Yeah, I usually stretch it to 5 bottles, so it's 3.5 liters. So
okay. Mark, what time is it where you are right now?
Pardon me. Well, I'm in Seoul, South Korea, and this is where I've been for 13 years now, aside from heading home to Canada maybe every winter or summer or both. And I'm teaching at a university here. The semesters run September to mid-December, and then March to late June, and then the rest of the months I'm off. So I'm off about 5 months a year. Great job. Here in Korea, by the way, Richard Blankus is asking.
What time?
It is 2:20 in the afternoon on Sunday. It's no longer World Whiskey Day, but I'm still celebrating because I'm big.
There you go. And the same for you, Rooney. What time is it there? 5 a.m. in the morning?
It's 5:18 a.m. in the morning, also a Sunday, and I'm in Iceland. So
So it's
we are covering the world.
And you are a dedicated whiskey man because you got up this early to be on this show with me. So I appreciate that. And we're all drinking a Scotch. I'm drinking the SMWS, which is actually a Lacheg. Tobermory is what 42 is in the SMWS. Have you had this any of the Lachegs with your SMWS there, Rooney?
Yes, I have. I think I own 6 bottlings of Lacheg. I
really love Lacheg.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It reminds me. So I have been drinking some Ardbeg from the 70s, and it really, really reminds me of the Ardbeg of the 70s compared to Ardbeg today. So Lacheg is like Ardbeg used to be, in my opinion.
Oh. That's an interest. I wonder what people in the comments think about that. Connor Strang, Lacheg is great, or of course for Tobermory. Okay, we are the world. Richard Blanca says. Telex, man, I'm very impressed about how many people are here. I'm very happy, guys. I didn't think there'd be too many at this time. And Foodquig's here, getting primed for his to keep the light going for the whiskey world. What caused you to decide to start doing a YouTube channel, Rooney?
It's just I have been doing a lot of whiskey tastings and so on, and we have a couple of local whiskey clubs in the Faroe Islands where we are when we are opening a new bottle or we are trying something, have bought some samples or something. Then we are doing like a written review on this whiskey club's Facebook page or group.
Okay.
And it caught the eye of a journalist who's working in radio, who happens also to be a whiskey enthusiast. He called me one day from the Faroe Islands.
Okay.
And he called me one day and said that they had like this weekend warm-up theme on radio. It's just called The Weekend, and he wondered if he could make like a recorded whiskey review with me, together with me. So he came to my whiskey bar, and we sat and had a talk of maybe 2 hours or something like that.
Right on.
And then he sent me the cut version afterwards, and it sounded really, really well. And then he recommended, hey, why don't you? There's a lot of whiskey channels out there, YouTube channel. Why don't you do a channel? Because I've seen your reviews, and you write it in a really, really special way. So you could do it, and you should do it in English. And then I was inspired, and then I started up doing. I have had a YouTube channel for many years, and then just started to making whiskey reviews there also. I haven't made so many reviews yet that I put out, but I have a lot in the box, like recorded that haven't edited yet and so on.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what they say. No matter what you're doing on YouTube, is that you just start and you improve as you go along. I think exactly. looking behind me at the camera at the video that I put on of the Faroe Islands, it would be phenomenal to see you do a review in some of the areas that they're showing there. The landscape is gorgeous, man.
Thank you for the input. That is also my plan, to go to some of the remote areas up in the mountains or down by the seaside and do a whiskey review there, especially now in the summer when it's more tolerable to be outside than in the wintertime. So I will definitely do that.
But we would like to see you do it in the wintertime and see what an unchilled filtered whiskey does in the winter.
Yeah, that would also be cool.
Yeah, like, oh, look, it's a little cloudy. It would be interesting to see that, yes. One of the guys here who actually lives in the province that I'm working in right now, Whiskey Sneerson, asks if you've ever heard of any Sneersons in Iceland. Is I don't know.
No. It is so Sneerson is a bourbon, or is a Canadian whiskey, or what is it?
No, it's a family name. His last name is Sneerson.
Yeah, okay, yes. No, never heard of the Sneersons.
No Sneersons. Somebody told you were a Viking one day, whiskey Sneerson, and I guess it's not true, eh?
Yeah, but for example, in Canada, there's like 150 years ago, there was a famine in Iceland, and 25% of Okay, now I'm on again. So the story is about the Icelanders in Canada, is that about 150 years ago there was a famine in Iceland, and 25% of the people moved to Lake Manitoba in Canada, and there's a community there called New Iceland.
Okay.
So you probably have a lot of Icelandic families in Canada, but you can ask him if he knows anything about his family history in that way.
I think that we'll ask Whiskey Whistle when he gets back, because I believe you say it was in Manitoba?
It was close to Lake Manitoba, yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Are we talking about the Icelandic community in Manitoba?
Yes.
Okay, it's called Gimli, and that's where the Crown Royal Distillery is located.
Okay, Gimli, Ontario is where we have Crown Royal. So you think there's any Icelandic influence in our whiskey over there, Mark?
Good question. I mean, so the Crown Royal Distillery is located in Gimli. Gimli is an Icelandic community. It's the largest Icelandic-speaking community outside of Iceland. And in fact, I wonder what their population is. But anyway, big, huge community there. Probably a lot of them work at the distillery. So I guess you could say there would be a bit of an influence, but right, Gimli by Lake Winnipeg. That's right, Foodquig. I mean, it would be basically just in terms of the fact that there's Icelanders working there. But I don't think there's an influence in terms of how the whiskey tastes or whatever.
Okay. Well, let's see what's in the chat here a bit. The name probably changed. Yes, I'll try Flockley. That's crazy. Good morning. People are coming in. Somebody's left here. Mark has left. Which Mark did I miss? Lots of chatting amongst themselves. Rooney, can you see the chat?
No, I cannot.
Okay.
I was saving the bandwidth because of it seemed like it was really, really slow internet here, and I thought that was the reason why the video didn't come through. So I didn't want to push my luck.
No problem, buddy. It's glad that we can hear you and we can have a conversation. So we're going to talk about this world whiskey thing, and one of the things I'm interested about, and this is an article from 2017, but it is about Faroese whiskey to hit the shelves in 3 years. So they have a distillery on the island?
Yes, they have. Actually, the Faroe Islands are a group of 18 islands.
Right.
And it's the distillery is located in the north, in an island called Borøy. So it's actually in a town called Aqvavitae, and it's an old, or it's the oldest brewery we have in the Faroe Islands of beer, and they have started brewing, or they have put whiskey on barrels, and they have been on barrels now for a little more than a year, almost 1.5 years, I think. And the distillery is called Einar's Distillery, or Einar's Distillery. So it's a very Nordic name, and Einar's distillery.
Einar's.
Einar's, yeah, like the name.
Daniel, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to switch to my laptop because I can't really follow very easily here.
Okay, buddy. Yep, okay, come right back. You're going to disconnect? I need to re-invite you?
Yes. No, I can rejoin, I think.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
All right. So we have Mead Mule, who is cousins to the Malted Man Cave. They're pretty good guys. Mead Mule is on Instagram, and he does reviews. He has a blog. Of course, Keith, who I am following after, he had he's a little hurt because his cousin Mead Mule beat him in Aqvavitae quiz, which you joined in today on the Aqvavitae quiz. It was a little easier than sometimes, but Mead Mule kind of beat him by a margin, and they're a little bit of the cousins fight back and forth. I think it's just a common joke here. There'll be some comments are coming in here right now. Yeah, they're all mad now. I didn't lose any. I can't wait to see him a little bit here. Yeah. Whoa! I almost dropped the bottle of whiskey. Whoa! We caught her. So what are your plans to do with your channel? You were saying a little bit that you'd like to do some stuff in the terrain of your country. Yes, and I have gotten a professional musician to make me a jingle. So like a rock jingle, and when it starts and so on, and maybe I will have a fixed introduction video to the beginning, just developing, like slowly. Yeah. I've installed some better camera setups in my bar, and I'm also going to work on how to like have a microphone that is weatherproof and so on when I'm going out, like out of the bar to out of my bar to make a review. So it's I'm working on that. Yeah, that's good. And I'm also going to do like joint whiskey tasting. So I might invite somebody in, and then we are going to have a talk about the whiskey in English. Well, I'll join you for some SMWS stuff if we can get the same stuff here in Canada as you got there. That would be great. Yeah, that would be really, really fun to do a head-to-head tasting, like you're doing a tasting in Canada and I'm doing one in Faroe Islands, and even better if it could be the same bottle or the same. It would be, yes. Possible. Yeah, that would be really, really fun. Well, I hope that a lot of the people in the chats here will look up your channel. It's under Rooney Nielsen. Not very hard to find. RUNI. And check you out. Watch you as you grow. Yes, Mark, you are back online. And you're able to get into the chats, I see. You know what? I missed a lot of them today too. That's crazy. I had to do a lot of work, which means I stand around with a camera and watch somebody else do the work today. It was kind of a pain in the ass. But that's what they pay me to do. Make sure it's done right. What batch is your Aberlour that you're drinking from, Rooney? It's batch 60. 60. Yeah. And Richard Blanchis is probably on here and going to call me a one-upper. I have a bottle I haven't opened. I had about 3 bottles, and I have a bottle that is a batch 39 of an Aberlour. Yeah, exactly. I have quite a few of these. I think I have the 39, I have the 49, and then I have 52. 53, 54, 55, 56, all the way up to 60. So wow, I think I'm going to be coming to the Faroe Islands for a visit. Yeah, you're welcome, of course. Yeah, me and the Malted Man Cave. You and the Malted Man Cave. The Malted Man Cave had a guest on from YouTube called Malt Land. He is from Bulgaria. Oops, Mark, you got my voice. I love the sound of my voice. Yeah, baby. Anyway, the Bulgarian. I asked several times, do Bulgarian women like whiskey kisses? So now I'm going to ask Rooney, do Faroese women like kisses?
They like whiskey. Some of them, yes, but there are a lot of. I guess it's like all over the world. Otherwise, that they don't like the peated whiskies, but they like like the sherry, like the Glenfarclases.
Are you a sherry fan or peat, or you're a little of both?
Peat fan, but I can enjoy both. I really like Glenfarclas. I have a huge collection of Glenfarclas also, both independent bottlings and own bottlings or distillery bottlings.
That's good. I have quite a few Glenfarclas as well. I'm quite fond of the 106 or 105. Pardon me. I have
exactly.
I have a 20-year-old bottle of that, which I have signed by George S. Grant, and he signed it "Drink Me" right on the box. So. Yeah. Telex is in here. He had a 158 and loved it, he said. So I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Abunde. How about you, Mark? I can hear you now. Yep.
Okay, great. You never heard anybody say anything bad about what?
Abelor Abunde, right behind your head.
Abelor Abana.
Abadan.
That one. Yeah, no, it's very good, and quite potent. A little bit on the young side, and each batch is a bit different. I've had one just sort of so-so batch, and then one very delicious batch. Those were, I think, 56 was just so-so, and 59 was really, really nice for me.
That's good. That's pretty much falls into what Telex is saying here too, right? So
yeah,
go ahead.
It's really funny it's really interesting to follow what happens to this cask strength whiskey from Abelard called Abana, and it's because it's developing all the time, but it's always on Spanish Oloroso casks.
Yes,
I think all of them have been on Spanish Oloroso casks, and so it's and we have no clue how long they've been on, because it's as you say, it's as a no age statement, and like Mark says, that it's really, really young. You can taste that it is a young whiskey. But it varies so much from batch to batch that you can never say, okay, I'm not going to try that one again, because it will never be the same when you go across batch.
I'm getting called out again by Richard about being a one-up man.
Now, I had a 49 a couple of weeks ago. So the Abana released 49.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So Abana 49 was really, really great. I really liked it, and it really did have full flavor.
Exactly.
So when you go home this time, Rooney, what bottles are you taking home, and where do you purchase them at the airport, or where do you usually end up getting your stuff?
So when I go to Iceland, it's the only place where I can pick up whiskey is at the airport, because they don't have any specialty shops here in Iceland selling whiskey or anything like that. So I will actually I'm flying here from a local small airport that is downtown Reykjavik. Reykjavik is the capital of Iceland. So it's a small domestic airport there where I'm flying to the Faroes from, and it's and its whiskey collection is really bad. However, they have Glenfarclas 105. So I'm probably going to buy one bottle of those, and then I'm going to, when I come to the airport in Faroe Islands, it has a bit better collection, and there I'm going to pick a couple of Abelauer Abona more up. That or I realized the other day I didn't have an Ardbeg 10 in my collection. Or the one that I had was empty. So I'm going to restock my Ardbeg 10 also. But it's very hard to keep track of what whiskey I have when I have 500 bottles. So.
Well, I have an app on my phone from a guy, I think in the Netherlands. His name is Daniel Nielsen. You might be related to him. Called the Whiskey Log. And I've used that for years. Yeah, and just so that when I'm out somewhere, like traveling even, and I see a bottle, I'm like, yeah, and I can go down here and say, oh, I already own one or whatever, and I don't have to, it helps me. My memory's not always going that well anymore. So,
Daniel, share that app with me in a message if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, me too. Also, Also.
It's not hard to find. It's just called the Whiskey Log, but I'll share it with you, no problem. Yep, I'll do it after the show here. Thank you, Richard. I'm just joking. It's a pleasure for you to share knowledge and collection with you. You're a good man. Yeah. Yeah. Whiskey Log. So what do we, Malted Man Cave? Thank you for staying up. I'm sure that your wife probably wants you to go to bed by now. Did your, and I always forget the guy that's sitting next to his name. I remember your cousin, Mead Mule, because he beat you so bad on that trivia thing, but I forget sometimes. Telex is talking about distiller.com is a good one to check out too for inventory. They're a pretty good app as well. When I went to pick up this bottle, that's what the guy used for this bottle as well, right? So it's pretty good stuff, right? And Pascal Burgers, who is another Viking. He uses the app Drammer, which I've never looked that one up. I'll have to check it out, right?
Yeah.
So Santa Cruzan, are you going to sleep? You got to take your nephew to Laguna Seca tomorrow. What's going on at Laguna Seca? Is it the Indy?
Laguna Seca. Or
is it the Moto? It's not the MotoGP. What's going on at Laguna Seca? So Rooney, I ride motorbikes, and thus the name Whisky Throttle. But I haven't even looked at one this year because they keep sending me out of town to work.
I've raced at Laguna Seca.
You did?
Yep.
In a go-kart?
In a bike race.
You're one of them health nuts, aren't you?
Maybe formerly.
Before whiskey got to you, eh?
Well, I still like to say I'm a cyclist, but I haven't competed for I guess about 14 years now.
So I'm trying to understand this, Mark. Why would there be a bicycle at the Laguna Seca racetrack?
Well, California tends to have all of the initial USA cycling events because of the good weather. So it starts down south and moves up the coast. And then it starts to go into the interior states before finishing in Philadelphia in I guess September.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have the the distinction of being able to say that I raced against Lance Armstrong.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
Before he got called out.
Right. So he would have been well doped up in the races that I would have competed against.
Well, now you know.
But
Now you know that it works, so maybe you should try it, right?
maybe I should.
Listen, I work with lots of guys that get assistance, and the reason they use it is because it works. Same reason why we drink whiskey. So, Rooney, you have a wife and a young child. Is it just one child or two?
We have one child together, and she has two children from a previous marriage.
Okay, they're beautiful looking. Your wife's got phenomenal blue eyes. I saw on one of your Instagram posts. Does she give you a hard time about how much money you spend on whiskey?
No, actually not, because so my whole whiskey collection is something that I have invested into. So it's like I've bought and sold whiskey. So I've ended up with a whiskey collection of 500 bottles, and I don't think it costs me a dime. I actually earn money on whiskey every year.
There you go. See, the first time I ever dealt with a guy. He just saw something on social media and asked if I'd buy him one, and he was a collector in Germany, and it was a bottle of Bruichladdich. It probably cost him more to ship it than it would have to buy it. Actually, the lady at the liquor store was from Germany, and she couldn't understand why a guy wanted to have this stuff shipped to them. So, but collectors are collectors.
Collectors are collectors, yeah. And I sell a lot of bottles on whiskey auctions.
Oh, so there you go. So you have lots to teach us. Like Ralphie does some of that too, where he talks about auctioning off whiskey and so forth. His last, I don't know how, maybe it was a month ago, he had a video where he was showing 4 whiskeys he was taking to auction because he wanted to buy some rum casks, like the whole barrel. So there is an economic side to this love of whiskey.
Yeah, definitely. What I have been doing is that I have been arranging whiskey tastings where maybe there has been like what you call it, a stack party or something like that, where they have asked if before they get all shit faced, they have asked if I could do a whiskey tasting for them.
Very good.
Yeah, and I have been doing that for also like big corporations and so on, that they have maybe some whiskey enthusiasts working there, and then I have been doing like whiskey tastings for 20 and upwards to 30 people. It's really hard to squeeze 30 drams out of a bottle. So yeah, so it's so that is my limit. And I also been doing like people are a bit crazy about these whiskey advent calendars. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, we get them here too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have been making whiskey calendars also in the Faroe Islands, and people have been really crazy about it. Yeah.
Do you make?
I have so many. Yeah, I make them individually. So I ask them, so what you like, what price range are you in, this and back and forward, and then I make individual whiskey calendars on demand, more or less.
So, Rooney, before we get too close to the end here, because Foodquig will be taking over here in about 15 minutes or so, I'm going to type it in, but you want to tell some of the guys are asking what's your information for YouTube? How should they find you?
Yeah, it's so the easiest way is my username. So it is CRUISR. Oh, sorry, I will do it again. It's just confused because I heard my own voice echoing back. It's really hard when you're spelling. So it's CRUISARIN, and if you look that up, I'll write it here in messaging, and you can relay it onwards to the channel.
Okay, CRU. Yeah, IS.
Yeah.
ARIN. That's Cruisarian is on Instagram.
Yeah. I'm on Instagram and I'm on YouTube, and I think the link to my YouTube channel is actually in the live feed. If you go to the
it's just under your name, Rooney Nielsen, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you go to the bottom of the list there on Aqvavitae's World Whiskey, he has like a text section there.
Yeah, he linked your name onto that as well.
Yeah, it's on the bottom. It's the lowest, the furthest down there. Says Rooney Nielsen, Cruise Aaron, and then there's my YouTube channel.
That's
and
right.
I have the same handle like Cruise Aaron on Instagram, and also on Facebook and on Twitter. I use the same username on all social media. So.
Whiskey Mark, you're funny. In the chats, he just put that your name Rooney is I run backwards. I want to take Mark over there and let some real Vikings toss him around. So, Mark, you have a wife and family, and how does that go with all the whiskey?
Well, I'm amazed how very respectful my children are of whiskey. They admire the bottle sometimes. They never touch them. My youngest, she would climb into the storage room we have, and she would be playing with all the miniatures, making stories.
Oh yeah,
and and it was quite funny. And if they're open, you can actually smell it even though you close it again, right? Those little tiny miniatures. And maybe once or twice she had not managed to get it open, but she was kind of like pacifying her sore gums by sucking on the empty bottles of empty miniature bottles. That was pretty fun. Wow. I have learned to keep my collection a little bit higher up, so she couldn't reach it.
There you go.
Now she's lost interest. So
that's that was my father used to give me medicine that way all the time. So.
Well, I think even kids' medicine, if you get like cough syrup, I bet you there's a bit of alcohol in there.
Oh, of course there is. My father's thing was sherry, and it was hot toddy. He would boil water, put it into a beer mug about 3/4 full, and the rest was sherry and a big cinnamon stick. But the number one thing was drink it hot. So it made you sweat. You went to bed and you sweated it out. But my father was in the Navy in World War II, so that was his thing, right? So the rum and the sherry. Connor Strang says, is being tossed around by Vikings a euphemism?
Well, if they're ladies, I would like that.
Female Vikings, yeah, that might be fun. It could be.
For blonde dames having a go, probably wouldn't say no.
No, there you go. Anyway, I really appreciate you coming on, and both of you. It's actually really turned into a real World Whiskey Day here on my channel.
It really was.
Yeah, I mean we've all drank and enjoyed the same source of spirit. The whiskey itself is all Scotch. I have a little bit left in here of what I had. I had 2 glasses poured, and I added water to this one. Now, Rooney, you say you don't add water ever. You always drink it neat.
Yeah, I always drink it neat. But sometimes if it's a new whiskey that I'm tasting, then when I'm half through the glass, I add a couple of drops of water to it just to see what happens to it. But it's only if it's a whiskey that I find more interesting than nice. So if it's a really, really good whiskey and I drink it, and then I don't add water. But I sometimes add water when we are at whiskey tasting, and I check if it changes it for the better. But usually I never add water.
No. So it sounds here like, Mark, you changed here. We got about 3 or 4 more minutes here. You changed to Bunahaben.
Yes.
And you
Krakmona.
and you're doing the anaconda.
Yes, I am.
Rooney, if you
Channeling
can't
Foodquig.
see us, instead of swirling our glasses the way you would normally see, we're doing it the way Foodquig does, and he uses his wrist in a different
All the way
way.
up his arm.
It's his entire arm moves. It's a very interesting way to swirl your whiskey, and it's very unique to Foodquig.
Yeah, it's like Michael Jackson's what's it called? Moonwalk.
Moonwalk. It's well, it doesn't look like a moonwalk, but it's his signature move when he's swirling his glass. You got to watch one of Foodquig's channels.
Maybe he should patent it or trademark it or something.
Yeah, you should, Foodquig.
Good plan. Oh, Daniel, thank you so much for having me on. I know that was, you kind of threw me a bone. I totally screwed up my own show tonight. And if there's anybody here who is watching, I think there's lots of people who came to see a blank screen. I apologize. And thank you to Vin for taking over, and Daniel for putting on a great show, and all of you, everybody watching, everybody commenting. You guys really made it a great time. Thank you so much. There's more to come, right? Who's next?
Foodquig is up next. Foodquig says all he has to do is hit the live, and he's ready to go. So, Rooney, thank you very much, and please, before we go, tell everybody how to follow you. There's your Instagram and your YouTube. One more shot at her.
Yeah, it is Cruisaren, and you can find the link in the section where in the info section of this live chat or live feed from YouTube. And and it's my same. It's Cruisaren. It's my same username or handle all over social media. So it's both. It's YouTube and it's Instagram and it's Facebook, Twitter, and everything. So
it's not like how I was pronouncing it when you would pop onto my live Instagrams. Cruisin', it's Cruisarian.
Cruisarian, not Cruisarian. Cruisarian.
Cruisarian. Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much, and I actually am very interested to hear and see more about your actual whiskey collection. And more about the Faroe Islands. Actually, I find them very interesting.
Yeah, I will try to do a combination of tastings and some scenery in the Faroes. So,
and I really want to hear more about the distillery that I was reading about and you were telling us about. So,
yeah, I think I will make I will do an interview with their distillery master and post it online or on YouTube. So be on the lookout for that one. I will notify when that comes out.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mark. And everybody get ready. Foodquig is ready. I'm going to stop the broadcast. Salancha, everyone. You two guys hang on for 5 minutes.
Sure.
Everybody, you're doing awesome.
Cheers, everybody. Happy World Whiskey Day.
Yep. Happy Whiskey Day. Thank you, Rooney. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you very much, Telex.